My critics have assembled.
Prepare the royal baggage.
The royalty of critics. Thank you very much. So we're going to talk about the alligators who are, of course, on the hunt and crawl. Perhaps about a movie that's straight up point blank. But most of all, did you know they make baby guns for Stuber?
It's a baby gun. It allows you to fire it while crying.
I'm not sure you'll be crying with laughter, but Stuber is a funny action comedy.
You're scared me, Stu, and I love it!
Hello, can anybody hear me? I'm trapped with my father in our house in Coral Lake.
You're not alone. You may have to crawl out of the theater from exhaustion after this horror thriller.
Don't want to get involved in this hole. Let me handle it.
Who took my wife? Dirty cops.
And Frank Grillo and Anthony Mackie lead a by-the-numbers action drama. And Point Blank made me say,
What kind of is this?
critically speaking, now.
Where's your humanity? Good cop.
That is what I said. Like, what's going on? We'll get to that in a minute. Welcome aboard Critically Speaking, a show that is all about movies. I am your host, Lee Thomas, and joining me this week, the usual suspects. Adam Graham reviews movies for the Detroit News. Tom Santilli, a Rotten Tomatoes certified critic. Okay, gentlemen, you know how we start this show. We talk about the business of filmmaking or upcoming movies that have caught our attention. We call it our movie buzz. Okay, actor Samuel L. Jackson. He's joining Chris Rock in the upcoming Saw spin-off movie. Jackson was set to play the father of Rock's character, who is a police detective investigating a series of gruesome crimes. This rehash of a reboot of a franchise has already started production in Toronto. Now, the latest Saw is scheduled to be released in October of 2020. The last Saw movie was in 2010, and then there was Jigsaw in 2017, which was kind of a Saw movie, you know. But to the critics we go, Adam, is this a good way to invigorate this franchise?
This is more star power than the Saw franchise has ever had.
Ever?
Yeah, ever. I mean, it started off with, I think, Mark Wahlberg was in like the first 3 or 4 of them. And look, I'm a guy who's seen every Saw movie, plus the time when every Saw movie plus Jigsaw, so I'm kind of a fan of the franchise, but I was hoping to see like Chris Rock get chopped up in the first scene of the new one, kind of like Drew Barrymore did in Scream, so that there's more to it. But hey, it's one more franchise for Samuel L. Jackson.
I know, he gets a lot of work. And Tom, for me, this one is like Jordan Peele's fault because he made African-American leads in horror films work.
It's his fault.
It's his fault. So do you think this will work? I personally don't. I don't think Chris Rock is a great actor, even though I like him as a person. Yeah. Sam Jackson's in everything.
Yeah.
He's in everything.
Tom, what do you think?
Well, we know that Sam Jackson is really funny. We know Chris Rock is really funny. The casting of these makes me feel like they're going to rebrand the Saw franchise as more like a tongue-in-cheek kind of comedy horror, maybe than just a straight horror film.
How do you chop up a dude with a laugh?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of confused with what they're trying to do here, but I would highly doubt that we're going to see Chris Rock in a straight, serious role through the whole film.
Right.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of comedic elements to this. Like he mentioned Scream, you know, something along those lines where there are maybe some scares, more on the gruesome level, but maybe there's some laughs that go throughout as it kind of pokes fun of the franchise.
We will
Who
see.
knows?
It comes out next year, gentlemen. So how about we just simply head to the movies? As Anthony Mackie leads an action film.
Bring him to us, and you'll get your wife back. You got an hour.
Yeah, there's a fugitive and a doctor, but point blank, this new action movie is kind of by the numbers and it needs some help. Plus this.
Watch out for his fists!
It's an Uber driver and the cop that get into a gunfight, or is it a fight with a gun? It's an action buddy comedy, and we'll catch ourselves a Stuber, critically speaking, after the break. Oh yeah, straight off the Stuber soundtrack. And Stuber doesn't mean stupid Uber. The guy's name is actually Stu, and he drives an Uber. But it's about a comedian and a former wrestler starring in a buddy action comedy. And critically speaking, this movie made me simply say, hey kid, what's that smell?
Hey, kid.
You actually came?
Yeah, of course I can.
Whoa, what does that smell?
Long story.
Blood, dog food, vomit.
Wow, well, honestly, I'm just glad you're here. I don't care what it is. Who's your friend?
Oh, Steve.
Steve?
Stu.
Stu.
I'm Stu.
Yeah, Stu is the Uber driver, and that's the kind of humor you get in this new Stuber film starring Dave Bautista and Kumail Nanjiani. The film is about an intense cop who basically kidnaps an Uber driver as he searches for his partner's killer. And even though the docile Nanjiani character has most of the laugh lines, Bautista really holds his own. Now, the film is full of action and attempts at humor that mostly succeed, but Nanjiani's long form of joke telling sometimes falls flat. So I say go into this movie with low expectations and you will get enough laughs to be satisfied. I give Stuber, I say it's worth catching Stuber. It's a good time. I give it a thumbs up. It's not an enthusiastic thumbs up, but hey, I laughed. It was okay. Turning to the critics. Adam, you're up first. Are you going to catch this Stuber? Get it?
Yes, I do get it, Lee. That's a good one. And yes, I will order this Uber from Stu. Stuber.
Nice.
That's the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Stu. He drives an Uber.
Yep.
Stuber. If that's the level of humor we're at here, and it's fine. There's no real reason for this movie to work. The script is very loose. Like the reason that these two characters are brought together and stay together is very flimsy. And it seems like at any point, Stu, the Uber driver, can just take off.
He can just walk away. He can just walk away.
Can
Right.
get just another driver.
Right.
But the chemistry between Bautista and Kumail Nanjiani is what makes this thing work. And there's no good reason why stand-up comedian Kumail Nanjiani and former pro wrestler Bautista should work together, but that's kind of the reason they do work together.
Right.
The big guy, the small guy, the nervous guy, the tough guy. For some reason, they just have a chemistry that locks in and carries this thing. Also, did you notice for Academy Award winner Mira Sorvino in this movie?
I know, right?
Shout out to Mira Sorvino. It's good to see her back. It made me miss the Romy and Michelle days. But yeah, this is a low-level comedy that just has enough chemistry to make it work. It's not going to change your life, but it's a good time at the movies.
I agree with you, my man. Tom, over to you. Where are you at with Stuber?
The slightest of thumbs up, only because I feel like this is a harmless movie. I feel like most people are gonna like it. It's just kind of one of those things where you go, you lose yourself for a minute, you have some laughs, some entertainment at the theater. But look, I think we're overblowing their chemistry a little bit too. This isn't like two great. We're not gonna see a lot of this like comedic duo doing a pair of movies all through next decade. But no. what is gonna happen is I like Dave Bautista as a comedian. He's really funny in the Guardians of the
I was surprised he held his own in this too. You're right.
Yeah, but I am getting a little tired of Kumail Nanjiani's like spiel. Like for me, he's a lot like Amy Schumer, where it's really funny when she got onto the scene, but she kept doing kind of the same kind of comedy.
You loved I Feel Pretty.
Yeah, I did, and I like that movie still. I stand by that movie. That's an A movie. But anyway, he's going down the same path in terms of doing the same thing over and over. It is getting a little boring, but there are some laughs in this thing. It's light, and I think people will enjoy it.
And I think we've given this movie enough time.
Yes.
Yep. It's just funny enough. All right, gentlemen.
Go see I Feel Pretty.
On to the next movie. He said he feels pretty. That's awesome. Now to the next movie, and this one's out from Netflix with Anthony Mackie and Frank Grillo. The movie is simply called Point Blank.
Last night, a man was taken to your hospital. I need you to get him out.
Wherever he goes, I go. Whatever you say, officer.
And I say this film is by the numbers and slightly outdated. I'll tell you what I mean. Anthony Mackie plays this doctor that's wife gets kidnapped, and they force him to free this fugitive who's under his hospital's care. Now the premise is good, but we've seen it before. It's good, but the way the film is done is played, very played. This film is like a movie that a filmmaker made from watching other movies, other action movies, rather than actually basing it in any kind of reality. And then the end even devolves into this kind of love affair with Hollywood itself. And once again, excluding reality and everywhere else except Hollywood. The music is off and felt outdated rather than putting us back in the 80s. It was just dated music. I felt bad for these stars who did the best job they could with what they were given in this movie. Now, I'll say this to you straight up, no chaser. I would not pay to see this movie in a theater. But hey, it's on Netflix and it's only 1 hour and 26 minutes. but I still am like, waste your life if you want to. You have Netflix. This movie won't cost you anything. Turn it on while you're doing something else. You won't have to pay that much attention to it. That's not a ringing endorsement from me on that one. It's down, obviously. Tom, you're up first. You know what? I think I'm going to switch it up. Let's go to Adam first on this one to see what he thinks of Point Blank.
I am weirdly up on this, but I'm going to say real quick.
What are you talking about?
I can't believe
Crazy
we're
town.
in July.
Right.
And we're talking about Stuber and Point Blank on Netflix as our two biggest movies of the week. What is going on with this summer?
Yeah.
What happened to the blockbusters?
You're right.
But Point Blank is a B movie. It's a very referential film. I think the director, Joe Lynch, is doing the things that you mentioned, Lee. He is paying homage to the past. And he's kind of using this movie as a canvas just to kind of play with the past and things that he's
But Adam,
seen.
you can't set your movie in present day with like cell phones and then all the music is from the 80s.
Dude, I liked when they played Grandmaster Flash. I liked when they played Orange Juice Jones. I like the kind of feel that he brings with the old school music. Now, is this a huge ringing endorsement? No. Did I watch it while I had other things going on in the background? Yes. Did it kind of pass the time? Yes. It's a B movie, and for that reason, I give it a B and a slight thumbs up. I liked it, and I also like there's a fight in a car wash. I haven't seen that before, and I liked that.
You know, I respect the fact that you're appreciating where the movie is being released.
Absolutely.
You're
If this was
platform.
in the theater, different story. Just on in the background, I think it works enough for a slight recommendation.
All right, Tom, where are you at on this one? Please agree with me.
Uh-oh, here we go.
If this comes on Netflix, I would suggest saving on your electricity bill and just turn your TV off completely.
This comes on Netflix.
This is an absolute disaster. There's no point to Point Blank. It shoots some blanks. This whole thing is just absolutely. It's something we've seen in every single action movie ever before. It's just lame, like you said.
Every one of them. Like he watched a bunch of action movies and said, "I'll write
Dude,
one."
but he even shouts out to Live and Die in L.A. and several times and shouts at William Friedkin. He's riffing.
His
He's
last
riffing.
movie, I think Adam's given this guy way too much credit. I don't think that this guy went out and said, you know, I'm gonna do an homage to action movies of the past. I think that this guy just went out and said, hey, I want to make a car chase.
Sloppy writing. It was just cheap, sloppy writing to me.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Tom.
it just none of it works. I didn't think that Anthony Mackie is a good leading man in this movie. I think Marcia Gay Harden's character is just laughable.
She is.
And this is not even a movie to pass your time. You mentioned waste your life. I mean, there are a lot of better things you can do to waste your life.
All right.
Like pounding your head against your TV instead of watching this guy.
Hey, I really enjoyed your review. Even though I agree with you, Tom.
Pounding your head against the TV.
Much respect to both my critics. It's on Netflix if you choose to watch it. Also out this weekend, a beauty queen heads to rehab to help.
I was Miss Arizona, and now I am here to teach a life skills class.
Yeah, the indie film Miss Arizona is a fish out of water story about a pageant queen trying to help in the real world. Miss Arizona is playing at the AMC Southfield exclusively. When we come back, there is something in the water, and we crawl into the movie watch next. Now to the movie watch. How many times did I look at my watch during your movie? And this week, we take the call from Crawl. Run! Produced by Detroit's own Sam Raimi, this film is about a woman who races to save her father from a hurricane while these vicious alligators are lurking in the rising water of the crawl space of their house. Crawl stars Kaya Scodelario and Barry Pepper. It's rated R. Now this film did not officially screen for critics. I went to this film on my own, and it was exactly what you think it is. It's a disaster, horror, thriller film. I was on the edge of my seat. Sometimes I closed my eyes and ears, but I was satisfied. The movie's only an hour and 27 minutes, and I looked at my watch. This is the absolute truth. I looked at my watch 3 times, and that is a barely thumbs up for me on Crawl. I think that this film had everything you expected it to have. So I was satisfied. But it's a 2 for this week. Adam Graham, you saw a foreign film
I did.
called The Fall of the American Empire. Did you look at your watch during that movie?
I looked at it a couple times. This is a pretentious film that has this sexy title, The Fall of the American Empire. Ooh, what's it about? It's a French-Canadian thriller that takes place in Montreal that has absolutely nothing to do with America or the American Empire.
Subtitled?
But it has a lot of preaching to do about homeless issues and all this other thing. It's a caper film that wants to be a lot more than it is, but it doesn't do the caper stuff good enough to be about any more than it is. It's kind of it's a slow film, doesn't really hold water, as it were. Not necessary. This is not a ringing recommendation by any means. So I'm gonna go thumbs down on this, and I looked at my watch a few more times than I should. This movie's also over 2 hours long.
It's over 2 hours long. Now, here's my question. You know how I am with foreign films.
Yeah.
It's subtitled, right?
It is subtitled.
Not dubbed in English.
It is not. Thank God it's not dubbed in English. I mean, I got no problem reading subtitles. It's better than like bad lip overdubs.
Yeah, sometimes that can be comical.
But it really wants to be a lot more than it is.
All right, man, thank you very much. That's a twofer on the Movie Watch this week. Also out this weekend, a documentary about a resilient young lady that will never give up.
For her to take down 2 world champs, the current world champ and a 6-time world champ, is pretty rad.
Yeah, a shark took her arm, but not her passion for life. Bethany Hamilton, Unstoppable, is a documentary about her life. It's in theaters this weekend. This movie is slow, it's inspiring, but it's very slow. It's more of a surf movie than Bethany. Bethany Hamilton Unstoppable is in theaters now, but it's more of a surf movie than anything else. When I come back, my king of the box office, he'll make you crawl. That's next. Talk about that money that was made at the box office last weekend, and Spider-Man Far From Home in the #1 position with another $93 million. Toy Story 4 in second position with $34 million, and take some tissue on that one. That one will make you cry. And a movie that I thoroughly enjoyed is in the #3 position, and that's called Yesterday. All my troubles seem so far. Okay, back to what should win this weekend. And according to BoxOfficeReport.com, they expect Spider-Man to win, sling #1 to the top of the box office yet again with an estimated $48 million in its second weekend in release. Okay, now to our king of the box office, the person, place, or thing we think you should pay attention to. And for me, it's this guy that I've interviewed more than a few times, graduate of Groves High School in Birmingham, Sam Raimi. He's the man behind The Evil Dead. He's the man behind the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man series. He's also the producer of the film Crawl, out this weekend, and I love that he is still in the game, doing what he does best. Sam Raimi, not only are you my man, you are my king of the box office. I hope to see a lot more from you in the near future. All right, let's go to our critics. Tom, you're up first. Who's your king of the box office?
My king of the box office this week is one of the best films of all time, The Wizard of Oz. It is back in theaters this weekend, playing at the Redford Theater, which is in and of itself a great experience for any moviegoer. But also, this is a special couple screenings because it's brought to you by Pantry for Paws. They're collecting cat and dog food to put towards this amazing charity that helps out animals. So please support that and go see a great film at a great theater.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity to see a legendary movie on the big screen, because sometimes you just don't get that opportunity for a film like that.
That's right.
This was a game changer in its day with, bringing color to the big screen.
Absolutely.
Let's go to Adam. Who's your king of the box office, Adam?
My queen of the box office is Joanna Brady in Miss Arizona.
Nice.
And once again, I can't believe it's July, summer movies, and I'm talking about Joanna Brady in Miss Arizona as my queen of the box office. But this is a small film. It's not a great film by any stretch, but Joanna Brady, she was on Quantico. She makes a really good impression here as a former beauty contest winner who's trying to find her place in the world after the beauty queen life. In good performance and not a great movie for that reason. However, Joanna Brady, you're my queen of the box office.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate you each and every week. One more question before you go. Lion King, smile or frown? Are you ready? Yes, so all smiles.
I almost roared.
From me too. From me too. We cannot wait. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time, and thank you for watching. As long as they keep making movies, we'll keep critically speaking about those films. The reason I asked, next week, Lion King is real. I will see you at the theater.